Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and in this video we're going to continue our amazing playthrough here, a crazy one, of Zombicide Green Horde. And in this particular video we're going to talk about a few things that I messed up, very minor things we can tweak and fix pretty easily. First off, I want to thank a number of you guys for leaving comments and stuff like that and feedback. I love it. I appreciate all the strategy talk in terms of what spawn points we should keep or remove. There's so many different possible outcomes with this one. But with so much going on, you can see how much more involved the strategy gets in terms of what we should be focusing on than the tutorial mission. So far what we have over here is we have 4 necromancer and regular spawn points. So they all count together. So there's 4 of them there. There's 2 over here, and there's actually 1 way up there. So we have 7 in play in total. Once there's a rule in the rule book, which I have didn't mention at the end of the last video, that says if you are on the 6th or you have a 6 necromancer and spawn token total together, 6 or higher, then basically if any necromancer leaves the board, you lose the game automatically. So we never triggered that, of course, but the closest individual we have to doing so is this guy way up here, who's on his way to head out through that spawn point. So here's where things get interesting. At the end of the last video, I asked you guys which one are we going to remove for killing off the count, I believe, if I wasn't mistaken. We knocked off the count as a necromancer, so we can choose any spawn we want to get rid of strategically. Now, yeah, if we knock off a spawn down here, that sounds like a decent idea just to thin the herds a bit, but you know what? It's kind of nice to have all the concentrated nightmares coming from one side of the board and hoping we can just deal with it. That may also be really unrealistic, and it might be overwhelming because at some point we do need to get through the blue door. But the other downside too is we want to, I think over here we should be able to handle it. We want to be able to get into the green room, but before we can even go in there, even though we have the green objective, we still need to find the blue objective. So in other words, our biggest mission right now is not only getting to these objectives and trying to flip them and hope to find the blue one, but really killing all the necromancers that are heading out. So the biggest suggestion I got here through the comments in the last video was to remove this one actually. And I'm thinking that removing that one is a couple of different reasons. One, it stops the pile of zombies coming down the middle that may add into what would make for a tough shot if I'm going to use the ballista to shoot straight ahead and hit necromancers as they walk into the path, which is smart. The second reason it's really smart is we have a necromancer that has a chance to get out, and so by removing that particular spawn point, it's going to force every necromancer that's coming into this spawn to go all the way around the board and come out over here, and vice versa if we ever get some necromancers coming out over here. So that creates a really long walk for all of them, and that's fantastic news for us. So I think that is the smartest move strategically. So we're going to go ahead and remove that spawn point, which is awesome. So we're going to go into this next round, and that will be the last zombie that ever comes down that trek into our path. So without further ado, I think we've covered everything. Oh yes, one more thing. This walker here, I think for some weird reason, I turned him and sent him into here. That was ridiculous. He should have been heading towards something. In other words, he'd be heading towards the noisiest zone, which would be over here. The only way to get there currently is to go all the way around this way. Moving into here wouldn't have made any sense because it's all completely walled off. So that was a mistake that was caught, and I want to thank the individuals for pointing that out as well. So now we're ready to move into part 2 of our playthrough of Know Your Enemy. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we know what we need to do here, and we need to get rid of this fatty. What's really cool is now that I have this amazing dwarven hammer here on Dustin, which allows me to roll 2 dice, getting a 4 or higher kills it, because I can do 2 damage. The cool thing is I also have our friend Hopper here in there, which Brothers in Arms ability that he has for blue will give an extra die, meaning we get to roll 3 dice trying to go after this. So right now I'm activating Dustin, just so you guys are aware. We're going to make a roll and try to hit Dustin, so we'll just put these other necromancers to the side and use this as our rolling area. Let's see what we get. Oh, wow, perfect successes across all of those dice. We only need 1 anyway, but that was an amazing roll. So this fatty has been killed, so we'll remove that fatty from the game, and Dustin is the one that's going to collect that XP, so we'll bump him up to 3. Okay, so now that we've killed that particular fatty off, we still have 2 more actions to take. So I could have Dustin actually head in here and grab this, but remember, whoever grabs objectives is going to gain 5 XP. If I get Dustin to do that, he's going to trickle him way over into yellow. I don't want to do that yet. I want to hold off on yellow for now. So I need to give it to somebody who's really low, and I think somebody like Z would be perfect. Somebody like, actually Z would be perfect because Z's not really, and when I say Z I mean 11, is a very stand back character. I don't have a lot of attacks, and she's more for opening doors. She's got a magic ball in case she does attack, but currently is the least likely to attack for now, but I could see that changing very quickly. But for now, she might be the smartest choice. So what I'm going to do with him is Dustin also has a free search action. We don't want to forget about that, so we might as well do it while we're right in the room, see what we happen to get. Hey, look at this, guys. We got ourselves some Dragon Bile. This is really useful, so you can spend an action and discard Dragon Bile from a hand, put a Dragon Bile token within range of 0 to 1, and line of sight. That's fantastic. Will come in handy because we can actually set traps, say right here, for instance, things like that, and then try to light it up. Now, I'm going to have to double check on the rules because that is considered a water hole. I don't think, and if I remember correctly, I believe the rules might state that you can't light a fire or Dragon Bile in a water hole. So, you know, as much as it would be cool to put it here, I might have to put it off center a bit. But anyway, we might wait to place it because you're not forced to place Dragon Bile anywhere. You can really drop it wherever you want, and we might want to wait till those abominations start coming out because necromancers are only one hit to kill them or one damage to kill them, so we really don't need to waste Dragon Bile unless we had like a whole bunch in a pile in some weird way. So with all that said, he's gone ahead and does free search action. He does have 2 other actions. I will move him into this area, but I'm not going to have him pick up the token. I'm going to have him instead maybe go forward and move into a different room. I'm just trying to think. I guess it makes sense for him to move here. So let's see. 1 would be attack, and then 1, 2 would be here. He'd be done. I guess the question is, where are we going next? That's the biggest thing. We probably want to come out this door rather than this door, and maybe start coming around this way, I think, so that we can head towards that objective token, I guess, next would be probably our next best bet. We can't go into the green room, even though we have the green objective, until we get the blue one, because the rules stated that we need to do things in order, and the first order was find the green and the blue objective, and then from that point, as long as we grab the red objective inside the blue door, and the green objective inside the green door, we win the scenario. So that's kind of, it's in order. You can't just grab the green one and just run right into the room and grab it. So we're going to have to leave some people on this side of the board as well, strategically, so that we can go and grab that objective and pick that one up if we can ever get through the nightmare of all these spawns down here, which is, there's quite a few. So I think Dustin is now done. We're happy with his turn. So the next person I'm going to activate, I might as well go with 11. So 11's going to actually run into the room here for 1 action. We get the objective, we flip it over, and it's not the blue one. No! So that's not good, but 11's going to go ahead and get the XP for this. So for now, I might just put this maybe on top of her character. So she's got that. We got to bump her up to 5. That gets her pretty close to going into yellow, but not all the way. So 1 in, doesn't cost anything to pick it up. She's still got 2 more actions. Nobody needs healing, so she doesn't need to be healing anybody. So at this point, I might as well go 2 here. And you know what? Maybe, oh, this is where it gets interesting. Should I bust that door open to kill off all of those guys, or just let them walk on by? That is a tough call. Now, if I let them walk by, the danger is they could get over here to this particular spot along the same time as these necromancers are getting over there, causing a lot of trouble for my ballista to hit them. So I should probably cut them off, or at least divert their attention towards me. Plus, there's no runners in this one. So there's a lot of fatties, though. That's the only downside. But I do have a Dwarven Hammer. I do have Hopper close by. I'm rolling 3 dice. I could do that a couple times, and it might work. It might work. It's a little risky, but I think we kind of have to do that. Let me just see. Do I have any other 2 damage weapons? Didn't we get one in the last episode? Yes, so I forgot. That's right, Mike's got one too. So we should be fine. So let's do that. We're going to have 11 here. She's going to blast open this door. So, of course, this door is going to open up. Now, one thing I just realized I forgot was I had used Dustin in this area to actually use his hammer. And his hammer, surprisingly, if you take a look at it here, it actually doesn't create any noise, which blows my mind because I would have thought a Dwarven Hammer would have made a ton of noise. But opening this door up does make noise. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a noise token in here. 11 has now done everything she can do. So she went 1, she picked up the token for free, 2, and then blasted the door open for the final action. All right, so she's done. Next up, and it would have been cool to actually have her search something, but again, I want that door open and I want it to be guaranteed open. So with Hopper, I'm going to actually have him search, because I think we should search as much as we can when we're in buildings. That's not what I wanted to find, so I found myself a walker. Way to go, Hopper. Way to pull out somebody interesting. So now we have an individual here with us. So Hopper, are you going to go ahead here and deal with him with your short sword, or should I maybe let Liam take care of it? I guess in order for your turn to make any more sense, I'm going to have to try to attack so I can at least get you moving. That really delays things. That's no good. So let's try the short sword. It's only 1 die, but he gets an extra die because he even benefits from his own Brothers in Arms ability. I'm looking for a 4 or higher. So this would be his second action. Nice. Good thing I had the 2 dice. So that walker is dead. Just like that, Hopper's finally getting himself some XP on the track. Sorry about the focus there, guys. It's kind of going in and out, probably because my hand is like right in front of the camera. There we go. So he's now up to 1. So we went ahead, we tried to search. We did search. We found a orc. We killed it, and now we have technically 1 action left. So I guess I might as well move. It's not exactly the best. He's not in the spot I need him to be. I thought he could get here, but it didn't happen. Probably should have activated somebody else. That was a little silly. Next up, we're going to activate. Maybe we'll do. So this is the thing. I got to think about who's coming back to the ballista. So I've got Lucas here. I've also got, so the one person who I would be really helpful, I want to put Mike with this group because Mike has a really cool ability to pull people away from zombies, so he's going to be needed in this group. With this group here he's got to deal with. I want to take Will and actually send him back. I actually don't want to break doors down, but I want to send him back around so that Lucas has somebody else over here, and it might be worth it to have Will there. He's got a decent weapon that can do some pretty decent damage if he gets up close to guys. And then Lucas has got his bow and stuff like that, so that's a plus. It might make sense. Now, if Will is here and he goes 1, 2, 3, he's on the ballista for the next turn. Does he need to be? Not necessarily. So I could probably spend 1 turn searching, hoping to find something on his way back. This is tough. And he could also, he could trade. He could give armor to Mike, who's going to be going into more zombie killing situations. Oh, this is tough. This is a tough decision now. I might actually want to... Oh, do I give the chain... Do I trade with him while I'm in the room, or do I not? I guess I got to think about this stuff. You know what? I thought about it, and I think I want Will to still keep his armor. So I'm not going to do a trade here. Will's activating. He's going to go 1 in here. He's going to search and hope to find something decent. Are you serious? Another walker? What are the chances of this? Let me see if I can get this to focus. That's what it looks like. So yeah, 1 orc walker in the zone you just searched. That's 2 in a row like that. That's vicious. So he just found a friend. The good news with him, though, is he does have a really good weapon. So that's a plus. So he basically was here. He moved into here for 1. He tried searching for 2. And he's technically only got 1 more attack. That's really bad, but he has a decent roll of 3 dice. So here's hoping this works out. Please work out. Oh my goodness, just barely. A 2, 2, and a 4. So just because his sword is so good, he was able to pull that off. Otherwise, that would have gone south. So he's up to 5 now. Okay, so that's resolved. He didn't get his... A lot of this is not going to plan right now in terms of how far people are moving. Mike is next. I'm going to probably have Mike search. Might as well do that. Please don't pull another zombie. There we go. That worked out perfectly. So he got himself some plate armor, so I'm glad I didn't trade. So we got some plate armor. That's fantastic. Now I'm going to go ahead and go 2 and then 3 to get in this zone with these guys. So he's ready to fight. That's awesome. So now we have... This is awesome. We have Dustin with some armor, we have Mike with armor, and we technically have 11 here. Doesn't have any armor, but has some cool abilities. They're all in the right spot. Hopper's the only one who didn't make it all the way there, which would have been nice for his dice ability or his Brothers in Arms ability. Will kind of got caught up here. We still have Lucas on the ballista. So here's the question. The question becomes, do we use the ballista to blast all the way straight down? Because technically an arrow literally will hit everything in line of sight, and I believe if you have line of sight on things, which I do right now, there's no walls blocking anything, the chances of hitting actually go up. So basically my accuracy would be a 3+ roll when I'm rolling. So that's pretty cool. So give me a second here while I decide whether I'm going to use his spiked bow and a reroll, or I'm going to go ahead with the ballista. Either way, something's got to happen because these are runners, and if I don't kill them, they'll be in my space hitting Lucas next turn. Yes, we definitely want to use the ballista. So if I go ahead and I use 2 of Lucas's 3 actions, I can shoot with the ballista. It basically will hit every zone all the way I have line of sight with, so I'll be able to hit this zone and also potentially hit that guy way over there. The cool thing is that I get 3 dice to roll, and because I have line of sight and I can see these individuals, my accuracy goes from a 4, which it normally would be on these rolls, to a 3, meaning I have an even better chance of hitting. So I'm going to roll 3 dice, trying to hit these 2 runners. We're going to hope for the best. I need to get 3 or higher in order to make this happen, and I'm using the ballista, so here we go. Okay, so I got 1 of them, and that's not going to be good because that means it looks like Lucas is probably going to get hit next turn, and then we're going to roll all the way down for this guy way in the back. We're not going to forget to get our XP as well. Another 3 dice going in, and that would have been a much better roll to get the first time, so we're going to go ahead and say we're getting 2 XP from 2 to 4. We have killed off this guy way in the back, and we've given ourselves the XP, but sadly we weren't able to kill the runner, so we're going to have a runner coming in and hitting Lucas, which is unfortunate. But that is it. We have now activated all of the heroes. We gathered up the objective token in that building, and we're going to keep on moving through. Now, one of the things I want to make mention of, guys, and this was a gigantic miss on my part, in the last video, I made it seem like when you came through this door that everything here opens up and it all spawns. I made a big mistake because I didn't even notice that there was actually a small line here. One of the lines on the left is much thicker than the other one is, and I thought there was a door there, and it might have been because of how I placed the gold at the time. I thought there was a connection there, so that's my mistake. Technically, these rooms are not connected the way they are, so I gave myself a little bit of a leg up there because I was able to go through this building when technically I would have gone around to get into it. So just take that into thought. I've given myself a little bit of a help there, being able to just jump through here. But I will definitely keep an eye out for that in the future. You always want to check to make sure that there's a gap, to be sure that when you open a door, you're spawning for everything that has a gap around it. So like this room here would open up all 4 of these. But over here, this door would have only spawned here and here. These doors would have opened up and spawned these 3 over here. So just something to mention, something I forgot to mention at the beginning of this video, but I thought I would do that now. So without further ado, let's move over to the zombie phase. All right, here we go with the activations for all of the zombies. So I guess we'll start over here with the far left-hand corner. We've got ourselves a regular walker. He's going to make 1 move out to here. We have a necromancer. He's going to move to here. He's obviously heading towards no longer that spawn point, but coming around to the other side. So quite the journey for the Rat King. His actual rats move 2 spots at a time. And the cool thing with these guys, just so you guys know, they don't change their course if a hero shows up. So for instance, if one of my heroes was here and the rats were going to activate move 2 right now, they would go 1 and they continue moving on down because they're basically heading towards a target zone. So they're trying to figure out where their target zone is based on noise and everything else, which is obviously all the way around over here. But regardless of who shows up in their line of sight, typically most zombies, like this one, if it had 2, which it doesn't, it would go 1 and then come in here if it was a runner, because it would see me as soon as it moved into this area. Whereas the rats actually activate indifferently if they don't see somebody from the get-go. If they're moving like this and then you normally think they would see me, they actually continue on. They're just so crazy rabid about trying to get to whoever they're going for, even if they hear noise and stuff, that they're just going to ignore any other hero that they see. So, and this is gonna, and when I talk about ignoring heroes that they see, I mean diverting their path from where they were headed. So anyway, they're gonna move 2. So 1, 2 gets them to here. The fatty that was here is gonna move up 1 space. The walker that's here is gonna move up 1. The necromancer is gonna cross the hedge over here. So everybody's kind of moving along pretty fast. The runner that's here is going to come into this zone. Of course, at the end, it would typically activate and hit me, but I'm going to do this now. Lucas gets a damage. I have no way to stop that. I have no armor on me to save me there. Coming over to this far side of the board, we've got 2 regular walkers that are going to move up. We've got a massive group of them that now, because of this door being open and the amount of noise, these guys have seen and heard us, and they are coming our way. So they're in the front of the doorway now. And there's a couple walkers there with him, so this is going to be quite the fun meetup place. And then we've got our wonderful necromancer who's still just kind of lurching his way around the board, and that is pretty much it. So at this point now, we're going to do our spawning for all the different spawn zones. So here we go. We're going to start right over here in the bottom left-hand corner. We got 4 to go through, so this could take a bit. I'll put on the miniatures later, so we'll just pull 4. So the first one we've got here is Assemble the Horde. It's a fatty +1 to the Horde. Okay, there's that. And the next one up, we've got ourselves Fatty Bursters joining the pile. That's fantastic. But actually, no, it's nothing in sight. So because we're still in blue, thankfully, that's not going to happen. So we can toss that card. So we've pulled 2 of the 4. Next one up is going to be would have been the Vault Warden. So again, we're safe, thankfully. So this is really helping us out quite a bit, actually still staying in blue. And then we've got 1 Orc Walker and then 1 going to the Horde. So that wasn't bad at all, actually, for this, especially having 4 here. So that gives us a little bit of time. We've got no other spawn point up here. So we come down to this area here where there's 2 of them. We'll pull for these 2 right now. We got ourselves another Assemble the Horde, so it's going to be 2 runners and +1. So I'm going to have to go ahead and grab those in a second. Runners are not fun. And then another one. This one's going to be a Walker +1 to the Horde. So the Horde is definitely going to go from being that size to being quite a bit bigger after I go ahead and spawn all this. But we didn't get anybody nasty, and we didn't get any extra activations for Necromancers or anything like that, which is great because I don't want to see any more spawns. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take away all these cards, put all the monsters, or I should say all the different zombies in the different spots, plus add them to our green horde pool on the side of the board. All right, and just like that, we've got our spawn all set up here. Of course, the green horde to the side of the board is getting much, much bigger. That is getting a little scary if those guys happen to come out. We also went ahead and put a fatty and a walker here. We added the fatty and extra walker into the horde. We got ourselves 2 runners over here and a regular walker, so we added 1 runner and 1 walker into the horde. So we're going to continue on from here. At this point, if there's any noise tokens, which there is right here, we'll take it away. We already knew this was a pretty simplistic one because the major noise again is coming from here. Also to mention, the ballista makes 0 noise. I know that makes no sense, but when you think about it thematically, it is shooting a gigantic arrow, so it's kind of, you know, you might hear wind, you might hear a thunk as it kind of fires away, but for some reason there is no noise based on the game rules. I'm sure you could house rule that if you felt like it was noisy and it needed to be something that would attract individuals, but it just isn't. So that's a benefit to us. So basically there's 1 noise here happening and there's 3 here. So this is by far the highest spot, which is why these guys, not only by line of sight, but noise after that, easily we're going to turn and focus on us. So that's pretty much it. That's done for the first round. We're going to move on to the next one. There's so much going on here now. There's so many different angles to this as to what we could do next. We've got 4 of our heroes or survivors up here in this building. We've got 1 coming back. We've got 1 over here. Again, as I mentioned in the last video, I did screw this up, and I thought there was a door there because the gold was sitting like this. That's my fault, but now I'm going to have to play like that is an open door, so that's the reason why Will was able to cross back over it and all that good stuff, if he even did that. But I just want to let you guys know that was a big goof on my part, but I'm going to just continue on because that's one I cannot fix once I've kind of exploited that part of the map. But we'll continue on because I still think the odds are way more stacked against us than anything, so I still think we're in serious trouble regardless of this little bit of help we get. So we're going to go ahead and activate our heroes here in order. So the ones that are most focused on here is this group right here. We want to get rid of them, get our guys out the door, and then also start working our guys around, not only trying to get rid of this necromancer either with them or with this ballista when he gets to here, but I also want to get guys out the door to head over to the trebuchet because we need to get some people in the trebuchet so we can start taking some big hits against the nastier necromancers coming out, as well as the humongous horde that's growing over there that will likely come in at some point and will be just terrifying. So, and again, the more necromancers we kill off, the less spawn zones we have to deal with, which is a huge plus. So we really do, and of course we kill the necromancers, we get to go through this pile of quest objectives, so it's all connected. We really need to just move on with those necromancers being killed off. But we need this horde out of the way first to get out the door. So what are we going to do? I'm going to hold off on using my melee characters first until Hopper gets in there to give them the extra dice with Brothers of Arms. First, I'm going to use 11 to do some shooting out the door. Target priority from range, walkers get hit first before fatties, so she can go after the walkers. That's perfectly fine. Again, we're going to go ahead now. She's going to do that. She has only the telekinetic blast, so she gets 1 die for that. She does have this magic 8-ball, or ball of destiny, she has not used yet. So it says, before rolling any attack, you may roll 1 die. So this is kind of a risky thing to do. It's going to be all 6s are considered as 1, or no change of attack, or all 1s are considered as 6. So this seems like a really cool card to have on a character that could potentially be on the trebuchet, because you could really be changing the amount of hits that you get and stuff like that. It could go really well. It also, I guess it could go south too. But in this case, it's not going to help because it doesn't add any extra dice, and I'm only rolling 1 die, so I don't know if there's any value in that. So let me just see if it actually increases my chances. Right now, I need a 4 or higher. If I use this, there is, if I roll a 1, all 6s are considered as 1, so that's a bad thing. If I roll a 2 to 3, no change to the attack roll. And if I roll a 4 to a 6, all are considered 6s. Whew. So the question is, like, actually, I guess, or all 1s are considered as 6s. So, you know what? I don't think I'm going to probably go ahead and use that. I'm trying to think what the odds are there. There's 2, 3 plus 5. You know what? It might be worth it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to roll for the Magic Ball of Destiny just for fun. Let's give it a shot. So we roll this first. Oh, I got a 6. Okay, well, I guess it doesn't matter. When you roll a 6, it says all 1s are considered as 6. So that's the thing. So I got a 6. What it does now is, now if I roll a 1, it's going to be considered a hit. So basically, a 1 will hit, a 4 will hit, a 5 will hit, or a 6 will hit. And I'm just going against walkers here. So I showed you guys just how it works. Wouldn't you know it, I get a 2, so it's a miss anyway, so that's fantastic. No, it's not. So I'm going to not use the Magic Ball of Destiny going into the next action. It's just a little unnecessary with the small number of dice, but it was just kind of fun to try. So let's go ahead and do another attack here. We're still trying to take out some of the walkers and make it easier for the rest of the guys going in. There we go. There's that hit we need. So there's one of the walkers gone. So we'll give 11 one of the... Ooh, this is another thing we have to consider. Do we want to push 11 any higher? Probably not. Because if I do, there's a risk that I could get her into trouble in terms of pushing her into yellow. And I don't want to push her into yellow just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have her stay where she is. And maybe she will search. I'm going to actually have her later go up through this door and out, because she can blast this door open and go out this way. Although she'll have to cross a hedge, that's kind of dangerous. But I think I'm going to have her... No, let's just get her moving. Let's just get her moving, I think. So we're going to move to here, and I'm not going to bother searching. If I want to search and I have the possibility to, I'll do it on the next turn. So 11 is now finished. We have Mike and we have Dustin right here, ready to run into those guys and just start ripping them apart. The question is, are they going to be able to do enough damage to be successful? Possibly. We need Hopper in there too. So Hopper, if I was to move him in, it will be 1 and then 2 to get into this zone. He'd at least be able to use his short sword, which would be 2 dice, but he can only go after the walker that's in there, so that's useful. So he's going to go 1 and 2, and with his 1 action, he's going to try to take out that walker. So he's going to get 2 dice to try to do so. So here we go. Let's see how this pans out. Yep, successful. So he did his job. That walker is gone. He's going to bump up the track to 2 now. This is good. This is good news because, sorry guys for the focus, I find whenever I put my hand in front to just lose it for a second there. So he did his job. Now there's no more other guys to deal with in there but the fatties. So this is perfect. He went 1, 2, and attacked. He's done his activation. Next up, we're going to have Dustin come in with 1 action. We know that Dustin is able to roll the Dwarven Hammer with 2 dice, but with the Brothers in Arms from Hopper, he gets 3 dice, and he's rolling for 2 damage on these hits, so he's got the best chance of taking the most of these guys out. So here's hoping this pans out. That was the worst roll I could have ever rolled. Are you serious? Okay, let's pretend that never happened, and we're going to continue to roll again. I got 1 more action here to make this count. Come on, Dustin, don't mess with me. Okay, 1. That's not exactly what we wanted to see. So 1 of them is killed off. That was really bad. Really, really bad. So that's going to go to 4. Jeez, that was terrible. Okay, so now it's going to be all up to Mike. So Mike's going to come in. He doesn't even have a weapon that rolls 2 dice. He only rolls 1, but thankfully Hopper's Brothers in Arms will give him an extra one. So now he's got 2. He's got 2 chances to take these guys down, and he takes down 1 of them. Okay, he's going to play the slow game here as we just whittle away at these guys. So there's 1, and this is going on Mike's XP. So he's first XP. It was that kill. And he's going to go for his 2nd kill. Can he clear out the fatties? No, he can't. Oh my goodness. I'm actually really surprised by that. I thought we had that in the bag for sure. This definitely means that somebody's going to be taking an attack. Now the good news is that we can potentially try to use the plate armor on Mike to hopefully soak up the damage when it happens. But we can't do anything more about that right now. So it is what it is. Not terrible, could have been better. If I come back over here to Will, we wanted to get Will back out into the main corridor. My plan with Will, you might be wondering, why did I separate him down here and come around? I'm planning on bringing Will up the center to help deal with anything up here, as well as try to cut people off. The ballista is going to be here, which is dangerous because a ballista can hit anything in its path, and that's bad. So you don't want to be in the path of the ballista, so I'm going to have to be careful of that, or at least get him up there and out of there as fast as possible, which may be very, very tough. So that's the other question too, is, you know, I did move him back over here. The question is, do I want to leave him over here? Do I want to send him back through the door? And I'm kind of half tempted to change my mind again based on the fact that if I run him down here, he's going to get in the way of the ballista and all that stuff, whereas this is a clear path. So I think I'm going to send him on the clear path route, even though he can't help. So I kind of screwed myself over a little bit there by moving him back from where he was before. But I'm going to spend 3 actions to go 1, 2, 3, and he's going to head back out with the rest of the crew, because it looks like, based on what's going on here, they're going to need help. They are not as good as I thought they were with their rolls. They're going to need an extra guy in there. Lastly, we need to activate Lucas. So Lucas is sitting here, and he's got a character in his zone. He can go ahead right now and use the spiked bow, which is his own. Actually, technically, it's really funny. Actually, he can actually use the ballista if he really wanted to, which might be the best. Actually, no, because if I get lucky with 1 action killing this thing, then the bonus is I'll be able to move the ballista forward. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I might as well. Yeah, I'd like to move it forward so I can get it to here, because my plan is to have Lucas to be able to do range shots into here as necessary. So let's go ahead and do an attack here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using Lucas's actually melee version of this and hope that he lands this. He just needs a 4, so hopefully that pans out. Oh, he got a 5, look at that. So that worked out. The runner's dead, the one that hit him earlier. He's going to go up in XP. He's still not over yellow or into yellow yet. And now he's going to spend the other 2 actions to move the ballista up, and he's going to go with it. That's kind of how it works. So he's kind of trucking that thing along, and he will slowly get closer and closer. And as you can see, our main target's going to be this necromancer when he activates. So that's going to be it. That's all the heroes activated in survivors. Now we're going to move over to the zombies. So our wonderful friends, the zombies over here, we've got ourselves a fatty, we've got ourselves a walker. I'm going to actually do it from the start of this train because everybody's moving this way anyway, and it just makes easier logical sense to start way down here. So this necromancer is going to head this way because, of course, he's trying to get out, so he's got to go all the way around. We've got this individual here, he's going to cross over. We got those rats, they move twice, so they're going to go boom, boom. They're moving a lot quicker than everybody else. We got a fatty coming up the middle. We've got the Swamp King moving up. We've got a regular walker moving up. We've got a fatty and a walker moving up. And there we go. Everything's clear on that side of the board. Coming over here, we know we have to activate this fatty. So at this point in time, someone is going to be getting attacked. So we're going to have to go ahead now and roll for that attack. I'm going to have Mike take the hit because you can choose whichever one of the heroes that's in the zone to do so. And Mike has the best plate armor with 3+, whereas Dustin has a 4+ chainmail armor. So I'd rather roll with the plate armor and hope to get 3 or higher. Here's my fingers crossed. Yes, he blocks the damage. Fantastic. So that never incurred any damage to him. We'll activate these walkers forward. They're obviously going to see us. And then we're going to activate the runners, which are going to move twice. So they're going to be in this zone up here. And this one walker will be here. So everyone's kind of coming around the bend here. So that's kind of part of the fun. We're going to have a lot more guys to deal with. So I'm really glad I brought Will back because I think they're going to need his help. And Will also has a really, really good weapon. Another reason why I brought him. And he's got armor. So it's a smart move to bring him back. But now we have to go through the wonderful phase of, or the wonderful thing with the whole spawning situation, which has gotten crazy. So we're going to do 4 spawns here. So I'm going to grab this tray so we have it close by, and we're going to go through these one at a time. First one off the top is a 2 orc runners plus 1 to the horde. So that's semi-nasty, but it's far away. Next one is 2 walkers and 1 to the horde. Okay, this horde's getting more and more scary. We have a abomination that would have come out and will not be coming out. At least yet, anyway. And then another orc fatty and one to the horde. Okay, so what I'm going to do is before we move on to the next spawn zone, I'm going to put all these guys into this zone and beef up our green horde over here. All right, just like that, we've got all of our zombies in this particular zone all spawned in, and the horde has gotten even bigger. Look at this thing. You guys can see all the different characters in there. That's craziness. When that thing comes on the board, it's going to be a nightmare. So we got 2 more over here, so let's go ahead and spawn for those. We've got another one for the horde. Oh my gosh. So this is 2 walkers and 1 into the horde. And then 1 walker and 1 into the horde. Jeez. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put those into play. There we go. We got some new friends over here in this spawn area, this particular zone right here. So 3 of them in there. And then, of course, we added 2 more over here. Jeez. So yeah, it's not getting any easier. Again, noise tokens right now, there is none. I didn't put any down again because all of our noise was concentrated in one area, so there's an obvious movement for all of these zombies coming around the board to here and stuff like that. So no reason to put noise tokens out or take them away at this point, but I will start using them once it makes more sense. But that's pretty much it. All right, time to go ahead with our survivor's turn, but just before we do, I made one mistake. I did not move this necromancer from this position to here during the last activation for zombies. So he is now dead center in line with our ballista. Now, there is an interesting thing on this guy's card from way before, but it's not going to impact us, and I can tell you and explain you why. So it says here, normal necromancer rules plus no line of sight can be drawn to the Innsmouth zone. Now, if you stopped that writing right there, then this ballista could not shoot that individual. But at the very bottom, it says by actors outside of it. Meaning, and when it's talking about an actor, it's talking about a survivor specifically. If you take a look at the rule book for the ballista, it says right here, the ballista is a siege engine, it is not an actor. And that's where the main difference is. So this really is a nasty card because it really stops anybody like Lucas with his bow from shooting distance and hitting him. But if I used a ballista, I can go ahead and shoot at him. So I just wanted to show you guys that because there might be some confusion. But we're going to go ahead now and obviously activate Lucas because we do need to kill this guy. So it's going to be 3 dice because I'm using, well, I'll grab the ballista card so you guys can actually see it. But we're basically going to get 3 dice. It has to be more than a zone away. And we get 4+ on accuracy. But it says right here, if we basically have any line of sight, it drops to 3+ accuracy. And we do have line of sight. And so we're going to go, actually, you know what? That's where I think the rule would mess with it a little bit. So this is where it's interesting because I think it says, let me make sure I get the wording just bang on here. No line of sight required. Make separate rolls. Fired every zone in a straight line. No line of sight required. Okay, never mind. Make separate rolls for each targeted zone. Accuracy 3+ if any survivor has line of sight to the target zone. I'm going to go ahead and say that he doesn't. Because Lucas does, it specifically states on that Necromancer card that any actor cannot draw line of sight to this guy. So they're not going to get that +3 bonus on the ballista. They're only going to get the standard 4+. So that's where it's going to come into effect. So we're going to be rolling a 50-50 chance on this one. So here we go. Here's hoping this pans out. Oh yeah, easy. So he is gone. We blew that guy right out of the water. Again, this is a silent weapon. It took 2 actions for him to do that. Again, when we go ahead and we kill a necromancer, we get to remove a spawn point. This is super, super important. What I'm thinking about doing, and the fact that I don't want any more guys over here at the moment because I want some time to be able to check these up here. I know I have a mass horde coming around. I'm thinking, this is a tough one, although I could, 2 zombie spawns over here isn't all that bad. I'm really, really tempted to knock that one out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and knock it out from this side of the board, I think. I want to help myself out over here so I can get my guys moving as fast as possible to stop being kind of clogged up by all the zombies that are coming out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this spawn point, so that's good. So we got the spawns a little bit more under control. So we have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. So that's good. If a necromancer was to get out right now, we wouldn't just automatically lose. So that's good. So we dealt with that. Lucas technically still has one action left, but he can't actually shoot anything. And there's really nothing else I want to do with him. So really, his other action is going to go to waste. But because he killed the Necromancer, he's going to trick up to 6 on the XP charts. Dangerously close to going into yellow, but thankfully not. And that's going to save us huge when we go into the next round. But we're getting so close, because at this point now we have 11 at 6. We have Lucas at 6. We have Will down here at 5, and the only people that really are behind are Hopper and Mike, and then we have Dustin kind of in the middle, I guess. So let's continue on here. Who do we want to activate next? Well, we got to figure out what the best way to go after this situation is. We still need him gone, so it probably makes sense to activate one of these guys. So I'm going to go ahead and probably activate Mike, because he's only rolling 1 die. And that way he can waste most of his dice on this. And then I can bring Hopper into here and bring Dustin, who rolls 2 dice, into here, which will be rolling 3 to clear these guys out. So we're going to start with Mike here, and then I'll have Will as a backup. So we're going to go ahead with Mike here and try to make some shots. Mike's got this sword here. It's a 4+. He's going to get the extra die from the Brothers in Arms, so it's 2. He just needs to land one of these. So here's hoping this pans out. Okay, I'm going to re-roll that, because it's a success, but it was kind of on the side, and it failed. Perfect. No, not perfect at all. So we're going to go ahead and roll that one more time. So second action. There we go. We got what we wanted on the second time. So that fatty is now dead. And Mike is going to bump up to 2 XP. Okay. So with that fatty gone, and he's only got 1 more action remaining, I guess I might as well move him just to get him moving, because I'd rather us get going so that we don't waste too much time. This is a little risky. We don't have any other runners to worry about, so that's good. So he's safe here until we bring all the other guys in. So his turn is done. We're now going to activate Hopper to bring him into this zone. He comes in this zone for 1 action. He has the ability to use his short sword and get an extra die thanks to his Brothers in Arms. So he gets 2 dice. He will be using a short sword for 1 damage. The first guy he'll hit out of this pile will be the walkers, and I believe there is 2 of them, and then there's 2 runners behind. So walkers die first, and then runners die after that. Let's see how this pans out. That was terrible. Let's try that again. It's the worst roll I've ever seen. And 1 of them. Wow, that doesn't spell very well for us. So there's 1 walker removed, and he's going to bump himself up. He, of all people, would have been one of the good ones to get some XP on. Okay, so that's that for him. Now we're going to have our hero Dustin come in with his axes and things like that. He's going to come into here, and I think... Actually, you know what? Let's wait on him. Let's actually have Will come in. He's going to go 1, and then 2... He'll get to use his crazy weapon for 3 dice plus the Brothers in Arms for an extra 1, which means he rolls 4 dice and he needs a 4+, and he could pretty much wipe them all out if he gets a fantastic roll. But he only gets 1 shot at it, so that is not the best roll I've ever seen. I don't know what's going on with my rolling, but it's gone down the tubes fast. So we got rid of the other walker. We're getting into a tight situation here that if we do not... okay, that... Actually, you know what? That worked out pretty good because we actually stayed behind yellow. That's crazy. Maybe this is all meant to be because Dustin can actually kill these 2 runners and still be behind yellow. That's nuts. I don't know how that worked out, but I think the dice are trying to save me a little bit by making me fail on purpose. So now Dustin's going to activate, move in here. He's going to get his Dwarven Hammer for 2 dice, and then on top of the 2 dice, we're looking for 4+. I get an extra die from Brothers in Arms, so we're rolling 3. He's got 2 actions worth of dice rolling to hopefully kill these guys off. Oh my goodness, no problem at all. So boom and boom. That whole area clear, and guys, we're not even in the yellow. That's fantastic. That couldn't have worked out better, even though I think I wasted a lot of actions. So I still have 1 more... I still technically have 1 more action, and this is where things get interesting. So Dustin's in this space right here. We do have 1 more spawn here. I'm wondering whether we leave the spawn here, and I do have a Dragon Bile card, and what I'm wondering is, do I go ahead and set up the Dragon Bile for here or here for later in the game when we need to get through the green door, and nastiness is coming up from that spawn, or do we just eliminate that spawn once we kill a Necromancer and keep our Dragon Bile for whatever nastiness is coming at us over here? I'm going to have to think about that one. That one's a little tougher. So what I'm going to do is, because I still technically have Z to go here. I still have to finish my turn with him. So I'm going to check really quickly on the rules to be sure that Dragon Ball can only be placed on a street or inside location and cannot be placed in a water hole. I'm pretty sure it can't be. But I just want to be sure as to how I can use it. So yes, in fact, after taking a look at the rulebook, I found out that Dustin cannot actually go ahead and drop Dragon Bile in here. I shouldn't say that he can't. He can, but the Dragon Fire will literally have no effect. It'll just basically be extinguished. So there's no reason why I'd want to do that unless I think I can get my Dragon Bile to either here or maybe over here. It's such a risk. I don't really know. But you know what? I have a little bit of time to think about that, and I'm going to throw that back to you guys. What do you guys think I should do with my Dragon Bile? Right now, I'm going to have Dustin actually... he doesn't have a ranged weapon, so he can't do any attacking for the guys that are coming up behind him. I'm going to probably... I don't think anybody actually in our group right now has a ranged weapon. That's actually going to be a serious problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have him go up a step. Or no, he'll stay... Well, there's only one walker coming in, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'm going to have him go a little further, so he's going to move along with his other action. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have 11 activate, because she's still there. I'm going to have her open this door, which does create noise, but it won't matter because there's so many guys sitting out in the middle of the street together right here that all these zombies are heading toward them anyway. So she just did that with her action. Nothing spawns over here because it's an outdoor tile. She's going to move, or she's going to actually search first before she leaves, of course. She'll do that. And look at that, we got some Dragon Bile, some more Dragon Bile. That's awesome. That could not have worked out any better. We just need torches now. So she's got some Dragon Bile, that's good. And then she's going to come out the door for her last action. Okay, so that wasn't all that bad. We managed to stay underneath yellow the whole time, which is very surprising. Strategy-wise, I need your guys' help in determining whether I should drop the Dragon Bile here or here for future use to throw a torch at it. So it's kind of a question of, do I keep... Now that I have two of them, actually, I'm really tempted to. So what I'll probably do is just that. I'll probably end up on the next video, because we're going to end it after this round, I'm going to probably have Dustin drop the Dragon Bile here, the one that he's carrying, and we still now have 11's Dragon Bile that we can bring with us. And that way, later on down at the end of the game, when if this spawn zone is still here, if we decide not to get rid of it and started working on this one, then if a nasty abomination comes out, we can just blast it, or have somebody there ready to blast it if we need to, in case, you know, everything goes south with our ballista and stuff like that. So give us a little bit of a backup plan, a little bit of help there. So here we go with our zombies. So we're going to take our Necromancer, the orc one, here. We're going to have this guy move here. The rats are going to move twice to here with the orc Necromancer. Fatty moves up. We have the Rat King moving up. We have the Walker moving up. We have the Fatty moving up. A Walker moving up. And then we have a Walker moving here. Walker moving here. Two runners will jump twice. They'll be here. So now this group got a little bit bigger for a second. And everything is clear. Oh, I forgot there's a Fatty hiding right here. He'll go up one. And if I come over to this side of the board, one walker will come into the space with us. So we're going to instantly want to deal with him in the next turn before we can go forward. And then we've got three of these walkers slowly coming up behind. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and spawn. So again, we're spawning for 4 spots. Good thing we're still in blue. That's a huge benefit for us. Keeps things light, hopefully. See? Fatty bursters, nothing happening there. That's fantastic. Flip this one over. Enter the Horde. That's bad. All zombie miniatures containing the Horde spawn in the zone. Don't spawn anymore. So no more zombies spawning at all. The whole spawn step stops here. So at this point we stop. There's no more. There's no more spawning in this area, even though there's 2 more to pull technically. And on top of that, we actually don't have to pull anything for this one. The downside being there's an insane amount of zombies coming in right now, and I'm going to have to take this off camera to bring them all in because it's going to get outrageous. Alright, so I want you guys to see the insanity that just came into this particular zone here. We've got ourselves a huge horde. It all unloaded from this spot right here. We got 5 runners up front, 5 walkers, 4 walkers behind them, and then 4 fatties in one zone. That's ridiculous. It's probably going to cause such a massive confusion as we go up this lane, but I'll be doing my best to keep that organized as best as I can. If it gets kind of muddy based on the numbers, I might have to use dice to represent how many different types of zombies are moving around from space to space. That might be a good way to do it once things get a little cluttered, but that's crazy. If you look at the horde of that, look at the size of that thing in comparison to our group over here, that's scary. Good news is they're really far away. Bad news is That was a lot of zombies spent, and we know that if we run into zombies, then there's a whole other extra activation situation that starts happening, and that's bad. The other thing I want to make mention of, guys, is a huge slip-up that I'm sure many of you guys have already mashed into the keyboard and said, what are you doing? You never checked the objective pile when you killed the necromancer that was right here with the ballista. And you would be correct. I'm crazy. We shot the necromancer with the ballista. We were successful killing him. And then for whatever reason, I gave myself the XP. I also dealt with the spawn point, which we removed from here. And I just moved on. I didn't even think twice about checking the objective pile. So we're going to do that right now while I've got you on camera. Kind of embarrassing. We're going to do it and see what happens. So we can only hope for the best, really. Are you serious? Of course, it'd be the blue one when I finally pull this thing after forgetting about it. But that's amazing. So we technically still had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to check. So odds weren't really in our favor there on that one, but we got it. So the cool thing is that we have access now. We've done the first objective. We can technically get into this room now to go for this. So the final objective, just so you guys know, is to get in and get the texts that are here on these cases. So we got a pile of books right here. We're trying to get into this room, get this objective in the blue room, which obviously is going to be a lot harder because the green horde showed up. And then over here, the green one, which is perfect for us. We can go into this now. We weren't able to before because we didn't have the blue one. What we do now, and we just happen to be right here. So we're going to definitely dive in there, grab that one, and we'll be halfway through. And then it's really just going to come down to, can we get over here and survive? We don't have to worry about going after any other objectives now. It's really just a push for this. So that's going to be a little bit wild. But I hope you guys enjoy or are enjoying the playthrough thus far. This has been so much fun. It's been a bit wild, but we've done a pretty good job at running through this one. One other thing that I just realized that actually would be pretty huge. I don't know why I just thought of this right now, guys, but I just remember that every time you pick up an objective, and I only picked up one so far in this whole scenario, I put these gold piles here to remind me to grab a vault card. And I didn't pull a vault card for the character that picked this up. So I'm going to have to go back in time and try to remember who it was that grabbed this. But if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 11. So 11 should actually have a vault card. So I'm going to have to go ahead and fix that as well. Now the good news with that is it doesn't impact gameplay at all because the vault card basically, I mean, it would have helped us over here, but we haven't lost any health except for Lucas. So whatever I end up finding in here will just benefit us later, but I cannot believe I forgot to grab that. So I thought it'd be fun right now to actually resolve the vault weapon card that 11 missed getting, and this is the time to do it, and it's supposed to be a random one. So we're going to take this pile, basically, I'm going to split it in half. So I'm just going to pretty much split it in half, and what I'll do is I'll split it. Oh my gosh, there's only one card there. That was the worst split I've ever done. Let's go ahead and do it right here. So we're going to split this in half, and then I'm going to actually maybe take a couple cards off, and we'll start right here. I don't even know what this is going to be. It's supposed to be completely random. What do we get? Oh, we did not get an abomination killing weapon. We got the mace gun. So it's not as good as it could have been, but hey, a gun is a gun. So this is a one-handed weapon, which we're going to definitely throw onto 11. So she was the one that was supposed to have this a while ago, which would have made her a lot more useful with all the fatties and guys we dealt with over here. But at least we caught it and didn't forget about it. So she got her vault weapon, which is good. And now that's all squared away. So thank you again for your support. And as always, keep on rolling solo.